Hi there. So in John 7, Nicodemus was having I won't say arguing, he was having a discussion with the other Pharisees. And they were saying nothing comes from Galilee. They're not racist or anything, right? And Nicodemus was saying, you got to give him a fair trial, because Nicodemus had just started talking to him, but they were, we can go there real quick. They were saying, he sent the temple guards out to arrest Jesus, and they wouldn't arrest him. Why didn't you bring him in? We've never heard anyone speak like this, the guards responded. Gotcha. Have you been led astray too, the Pharisees mocked? Is there a single one of us rulers or Pharisees who believe in him? This foolish crowd follows him, but they are ignorant of the law. God's curse is on them. They sound like Democrats. It sounds like Nancy Pelosi and who's worse, Dianne Feinstein. It's like, oh, they're below us. They don't understand what we do. She says that. 90 years old, been in Congress for 60 years. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. Then Nicodemus, who was the leader who had met with Jesus earlier, spoke up. Is it legal to convict a man before he's given a hearing? He asked. Instead of people that were just talking about they're ignorant of the law, these guys who were just accusing other people of being ignorant of the law, change the subject. Are you from Galilee too? Search the scriptures and see for yourself. No prophet ever comes from Galilee. It's like, did they know he was born in Bethlehem in the line of David, as the prophets say? I guess they don't. Anyway, let's go on to John chapter 8. A woman caught in adultery. Now, this isn't in every translation, but it's still one of the most famous scenes in all of stuff. And I believe that, it says at the end of the book, if all the miracles that Jesus did were written down, there's not enough room in the universe to hold all the volumes. So we already know that he did more miracles on earth than could ever be written down. So anyway, this is about the woman caught in adultery, and we'll start there. Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives, but early the next morning he was back again at the temple. A crowd soon gathered, but he sat down and taught them. As he was speaking, the teachers of religious law and Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery. They put her in front of the crowd. Teacher, they said to Jesus, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say? They were trying to trap him into saying something they could use against him. But Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his finger. They kept demanding an answer. He stood up and said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone. Then he stooped down again and wrote in the dust. When the accusers heard this, they slipped away one by one, beginning with the oldest, until only Jesus was left in the middle of the crowd with the woman. Jesus stood up again and said to the woman, where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you? No, Lord, she said. And Jesus said, then neither do I. Go and sin no more. Now, some people thought this might have been Mary Magdalene, and it could have been. It doesn't really say, but it'd be kind of cool if it was, Anyways, that's not in every translation, but I'm glad it's in this one. Jesus spoke to the people once more and said, I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness, because you will have the light that leads to life. The Pharisees replied, you are making those claims about yourselves. Such testimony is not valid. Jesus told them, these claims are valid even though I make them about myself, for I know where I come from and where I am going. But you don't know this about me. You judge me by human standards, but I do not judge anyone. And if I did, my judgment would be correct in every respect, because I am not alone. The Father who sent me is with me. Your own law that says that if two people agree about something, their witness is accepted as fact. I am one witness. My Father who sent me is another. Ooh, tricky. Where is your Father? They asked. Jesus said, Since you don't know who I am, you don't know who my Father is. If you knew me, you would also know my Father. Jesus made these statements while he was teaching in the section of the temple known as the treasury. But he was not arrested, because this time, his time had not yet come. Jesus later said to them, I'm going away. You will search for me, but will die in your sin. You cannot come where I'm going. The people asked, is he planning to commit suicide? What does he mean you cannot come where I'm going? Jesus answered, you are from below, I am from above. You belong to this world, I do not. That is why I said, you will die in your sins. For unless you believe that I am who I claim to be, you will die in your sins. Who are you? They demanded. The one I have always claimed to be. I have much to say about you and much to condemn, but I won't. For I say only what I have heard from the one who sent me, and he is completely truthful. But they still didn't understand that he was talking about his Father. So Jesus said, when you have lifted up the Son of Man on the cross, then you will understand that I am he. I do nothing on my own, but say only what the Father has taught me. And the one who sent me is with me. He has not deserted me, for I always do what pleases him. Then many of who heard him say these things believed in him. Jesus and Abraham. Jesus said to the people who believed in him, you are truly my disciples if you remain faithful to my teachings, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. But we're descendants of Abraham, they said. We've never been slaves to anyone. What do you mean we will be set free? Even currently, they were slaves to the Roman Empire. Didn't realize it. They had to do anything the Romans said, and anything the Pharisees said, and the Pharisees were slave to the Romans, and it was a whole step process. But anyway, Jesus said, I tell you the truth, everyone who sins is a slave of sin. A slave is not a permanent member of the family, but a son is part of the family forever. So if the Son sets you free, you are truly free. Yes, I realize that you are descendants of Abraham, and some of you are trying to kill me because there is no room in your hearts for my message. I'm telling you that what I saw when I was with my father, but you are following the advice of your father. Our father is Abraham, they declared. No, Jesus replied, for if you were really the children of Abraham, you would follow his example. Instead, you were trying to kill me because I told you the truth, which I heard from God. Abraham never did such a thing. No, you are imitating your real father. They replied, we aren't illegitimate children. God himself is our true father. Jesus told them, if God were your father, you would love me because I have come to you from God. I'm not here on my own, but he sent me. Why can't you understand what I'm saying? It's because you can't even hear me. For you are the children of your father, the devil. Wow. And you love to do the evil things he does. He was a murderer from the beginning. He always hated the truth because there is no truth in him. Let's highlight that. He always hated the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, it is consistent with his character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Yeah, that's cool. And about the devil. There you go, right there. It's about the devil. Let's read that again. He was a murderer from the beginning. He always hated the truth because there is no truth in him. When he lies, it is consistent with his character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. So when I tell the truth, you just naturally don't believe me. Which of you can truthfully accuse me of sin? And since I am telling you the truth, why don't you believe me? Anyone who belongs to God listens gladly to the words of God, but you don't listen because you don't belong to God. So does that kind of remind you of today? The truth is getting out, and the deep state is trying to hide the truth. I mean, Elon Musk is putting all their stuff out there, proof that they were, been hiding the truth for, a long time. Anybody that spoke the truth was, the devil, deep state said, oh, he's a liar. And it's misinformation, they were calling it. So, how long has misinformation been out there? How long has the deep state been trying to shut up the truth? There you go. It's right there. Right there, 2,000 years ago. And they're still trying to do it today. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Well, there you go. So now that he's told them the truth, and they're saying he's a liar, and the devil's a liar, and the father of lies, and you believe the devil, and the Pharisees are, spreading misinformation, don't believe him. That makes people mad. Anyone who belongs to God listens gladly to the words of God, but you don't listen because you do not belong to God. Wow. Tough words to hear. The people retorted, "You Samaritan devil, didn't we say all along that you were possessed by a demon?" "No," Jesus said, "I have no demon in me, for I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. And though I have no wish to glorify myself, God is going to glorify me. He is the true judge. I tell you the truth, anyone who obeys my teaching will never die." The people said, "Now we know you are possessed by a demon. Even Abraham and the prophets died, but you say anyone who obeys my teaching will never die. And you are greater than our father Abraham. He died, and so did the prophets. Who do you think you are?" Jesus answered, "If I want to glorify myself, it doesn't count. But if my Father who will glorify me, but it is my Father who will glorify me. You say he is our God, but you don't even know him. I know him. If I said otherwise, I would be a great liar as you. As great a liar as you. But I do know him and obey him. Your father Abraham rejoiced as he looked forward to my coming. He saw it and was glad." The people said, "You aren't even 50 years old. How can you say you have seen Abraham?" Jesus said, "I tell you the truth. Before Abraham was born, I am." Ooh, tough word right there, buddy. At that point, they picked up some to throw at him, and Jesus hid from them and then left the temple. Saying, "I am." The words "I am," or Yeshua, or Yahweh, it was forbidden to say those out loud. And that was thought as a blasphemy, to even say the word God, let alone to say the words, "I am God." He literally said that. Made him really mad. That's amazing. So, that's John 8. Tough words he's saying. Next time we'll go into Jesus heals a man born blind, but it's starting to get interesting. And there's a lot of correlations between then and now. I mean, evil is evil. Evil follows the same script. Evil follows the same textbook. Evil does the same things. Follows Satan. Satan is the father of evil and the father of lies. And he never created anything. All he does is turn things upside down. So, think about that. Until next time, love God. Keep your coffee warm.